Always down for collaboration.
For sure. Like T-Pain singing Tennessee Whiskey.
I'll do anything with T-Pain.
Yeah, oh, me too.
We can sing the alphabet all day long. I'm down. We'll trade lyrics.
Right. All right, folks, welcome back to the Take It Outside podcast, where we talk about all things outdoors and just getting outside in general, where the good part of life happens. I'm your host, Sam Mackey, and today we have Dalton Davis on with us. You may have heard his song Fireproof on the Landman soundtrack, and he just dropped a new single, Redneck, and you know it. Dalton, thanks for coming on, my man.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. So, man, I love your style.
I appreciate it.
Hell yeah. Where are you from, bud?
I'm from, I say Gastonia, North Carolina. I'm really from Bessemer City, which is a little bit outside of that, but no one's ever heard of that, so I say Gastonia.
Bedford City?
Bessemer City.
Okay,
so there's a Bessemer, Alabama, but I'm from Bessemer City, North Carolina. So right on the Crowder's Mountain, Kings Mountain kind of border between North Carolina and South Carolina.
Okay, cool. What was life growing up like in Bessemer? One more
Bessemer,
time.
Bessemer.
Okay.
I had to think about that for a second. I haven't spelled in a second.
What was life like growing up young there?
It was fun. It was 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That was, no lack of things to get into.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up across the street from a state park, so we would climb under Highway 74 and go explore the state park all day long, and plenty of places to grow up riding. I grew up riding horses and riding bulls, and so it was a fun spot to just grow up and kind of just, I feel like there was endless opportunities to get hurt and have fun where I grew up at.
Perfect spot for a young boy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Riding horses and riding bulls. How'd you get into that?
My first job, well, since I was a kid, my mom always says, like, when I was 5 years old or whatever, they needed me to do something, and she couldn't. I was being stubborn. She would bribe me. She was like, if we just take you to the Western store, I would do anything. So just let me go look at the cowboy hats and the cowboy boots, and just be like, oh, this. And I would just sit there and watch John Wayne movies all day. And so when I was like maybe 11 or 12, I think I was 11, and I said I wanted a job. My parents, I don't think we're together at the time, but my dad showed up and was like, I got a job for you. Put me on his Harley and drove me to this spot. It's called Horseplay. It's not there anymore now. It's a solar panel farm, tragically, but drives me to this spot and drops me off in his driveway and says, just walk down that gravel driveway and find Mr. Jim. And I was petrified.
I bet.
I remember showing up to us, going out front, and I had on some shorts and some tennis shoes. He's like, oh, no. We'll put some long breeches on and some boots. And so I did. I go walking down this long, dirt driveway, and I've seen all these rough cowboys, and I'm so scared, and they're all looking at me like, oh, here we go. We got another one. I go back there, and I said, I'm looking for Mr. Jim. He said, oh, yeah? You Davis's boy? Come here. Puts me in the back of the truck, takes me to the back of this field and drops me off, and has us roping horses the rest of the day. And I had no clue what I was doing. But he's like, all right, well, you catch these and let me know when you get them. And we didn't get anything that day. He's like, all right, now I'm going to teach you how to do it. I just want to see if you'd stick it out or not. And so then then it was just kind of like every challenge that came, he was just testing us a little bit more. And we were young, dumb enough to be like, all right, whatever you want to do, let's go for it. And kind of started riding bulls the same way, same group of guys, and was infatuated with it.
How long through this process of, showing up to Mr. Jim's place and then, and doing all your daily chores or what have you, to, hey, then you went to riding horses and to riding a bull?
Well, I started riding horses pretty much immediately.
Okay.
He was like, okay, you're going to have to know how to do this. So they started teaching us how to ride. And there was a summer camp that worked there at the same time. So I remember they was, giving us ribbons for it. And there's 10-year-old girls who are coming out there riding circles around us. They're like, all right, well, she's going to be your teacher today. And you're like, what? And she's embarrasses. You're like, okay, yeah, let me learn what she does. So we started riding with the barrel racer girls a lot and kind of learned how to ride. And then that same summer, all the boys were like, oh, we had one kid that was already working there named Austin. He was a bull rider, and everybody was going after that. So
then you just said, screw it, I'm going to hop on this bull and see.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I mean, me as a young man, I definitely would have. 100%.
I did one last year for the...
Really?
We did a...
How old are you now?
I just turned 30 in April.
Okay. All right.
And I'm supposed to be retired, but we're going to do one more this coming fall.
Really?
Yeah.
Where at?
It's a little surprise. We'll do it out not too far from Nashville. It'll be a nice little event. We'll have to give you an invitation.
So there's bulls in the chute. You hop on this sucker. What are you wearing?
Oh, I remember.
You have a helmet and a Kevlar vest, or you just going straight Western?
I had a vest on, no helmet, and a mouthpiece that we had gotten from Walmart earlier that day.
Hell yeah.
I remember taking we went and stopped at a gas station. You got to mold them a little bit to your mouth, and we didn't have any hot water, so we stopped at a gas station and got hot water from their coffee thing, and was in the car or the parking lot pouring it on the mouthpiece and trying to fit it up real good, And then just kind of jumped on. I remember my boots, didn't have any spurs or any ties or anything like that, so we had taped my boots on so they wouldn't come flying off, and we were just trying to hang on.
Really? Did you get hurt at all?
I've been hurt a couple times.
Yeah. What's your worst injury doing it?
I don't know. None of them bad enough to quit doing it. So
Yeah, for sure. Bull riding, feel like every bull rider is about your stature, right?
long and lanky.
Yeah.
Or short and lanky.
Yeah. And then you see all the guys out of Brazil now, or South America.
There's some bad dudes.
Oh, dude. So I just love watching it. But is there any part of it where you're like, you know what, I think I'm good now?
I don't know. I think there's, obviously I was never JB Mooney or, Hudson Bolton. Shout out to the young legend coming up right now.
Yeah.
But never like at a place I was like, okay, this is going to be something I do professionally.
Yeah.
So I never really like had like pressure on it. It was always just fun.
Just fun.
So it's kind of hard. I don't know I'll ever lose that fun streak of like, you know what, last year we put a song out and somebody in Nashville had said like, oh, we don't think he really knows how to cowboy or anything like that. So we called up some buddies in Alabama, did a jackpot rodeo that Saturday just to show them like, oh yeah, we're still about it. We'll get down,
Hell yeah. Are you still buddies with any other kids that worked at that camp or not camp, but at that ranch? Not
really. There's a couple of them I try to reach out to, but haven't really stayed too much in contact with them. I really don't talk to too many cats from back home. I feel like I left home at a young age, traveling for music, and kind of just been afloat ever since.
When did music come into play?
It's kind of always been around in some way, or facet. My mom's family are all pickers.
Okay.
I remember my great-grandmother passed away, and I didn't really understand too much where the music really came from until then. And I went to her funeral, and we had the wake afterwards, and they pulled a piano up, and it was all my mom's aunt and uncles surrounded, all singing in harmony. I was like, oh, okay, this is where it comes from. But my mom's younger brother is always been my hero since I was a little kid, one of the best pickers I've ever met. And so when I was a little kid, he put a guitar in my hand. He's like, I'm babysitting you. I don't know what to do. He already showed me his trucks in the yard. He showed me his Elvis drawings in the shed. And he's like, okay, now it's time to play guitar. And he looked around, couldn't find a guitar pick. And he was like, all I got is my fingers or this quarter. So which one you want to learn? And so I still to this day don't play with a guitar pick, just play with my fingers.
Yeah.
And so music was, at that point, I was like, oh, I want to be like Uncle Dondi. And so just started kind of looking up to him. And then I went on my first travel show date to play music at 12 as a bass player.
Really?
Flew from Charlotte to Orlando to play in a battle of the bands.
How'd you fall into that?
My biggest blessing in my life has been being surrounded by proficient musicians that were older than me and mentoring me. And so my mom had a good family friend that were a family of incredible musicians, and they needed a bass player, and I started playing with them, and kind of one thing led to another.
Did you play the bass already before this opportunity?
I remember... don't have too much to do with my pops, but I always say like the one thing he did for me was for some reason we were in the same room at the same time, and this guy was like, hey man, we need a new bass player. Our bass player's graduating, going to leave out, go to college. Will you learn how to play bass? I was like, nah, man, I want to be a guitar player. And my dad overheard that and goes, no, we're going to teach him how to play the bass. And then so I started learning lessons from a guy named Eusebio Villamore, shout out Fez. And it was kind of over after that. I was sold. I remember he told me, he said, if you learn the first 5 notes on the first top 2 strings, you can play any gig. And that got me through for a little while. And started making my way down the fretboard as time progressed.
There you go. So you go to Orlando, you're 12, what's next? How'd you get from, that 12-year-old boy to where you are now musically?
Again, I think it's a lot to do with the people I was blessed to be around. A couple years progressed. I ended up traveling with a gospel group through my teen years, playing gospel music all over the world. Went from there to a predominant music school, and it's a Bible college outside of Chattanooga, but a huge music program. Okay. So I got involved there and just started continually building that network. Some of the cats that I played gospel with before were at that school, so it kind of helped start the first evolution of Dalton and the Boys back in the day. And I'm trying to think, really it's just been the grind and getting surrounded by people. Went to college, left there, ended up getting caught up in a studio spot in Chattanooga.
Where'd you go to college?
Lee University.
Okay.
Go Flames. The funniest mascot of all time.
It's just a flame.
It's a flame. They have the eternal flame in the middle of campus. There's a big fountain with a flame that
makes sense.
Burns 24/7, and it's always like the freshman thing to put the flame out or fill the water fountain full of bubbles. It's,
Did you guys put the flame out as freshmen?
Oh yeah, we did a lot of dumb things as freshmen. We tied a couple things to the back of trucks and drove them through town and drove through campus and had a couple nice games of cat and mouse with campus safety.
Yep, that's always fun. This podcast was brought to you by Outsider. Check us out at www.outsider.com. Outsider is an outdoor lifestyle brand owned and operated by me, retired Navy SEAL Sam Mackey, and my dear friend and former NFL quarterback Jay Cutler. At Outsider, we encourage everyone to get outside and enjoy all that life has to offer. Head over to outsider.com to check out our unique patent-pending drinkware. Outsider's drinkware can be customized with your personal or business logo. Go to outsider.com, upload your logo, and we will send you visual proofs and great wholesale pricing. And don't forget, get outside and enjoy all that life has to offer. Did you rodeo through this whole time as well?
No, I really...
Or cowboy, I should say.
I didn't really cowboy too much for a long time. I was just...
Yeah.
I didn't really see home for probably 10 plus years, just kind of traveling, playing music, and kind of going wherever the wind would take us.
And you mentioned you traveled all over the world when you were like 14, right? Mm-hmm. Where all did you go?
All across Europe, across South America.
Really?
Traveled with a gospel artist, and he was doing services and conferences all over the world, and we traveled and played, had performing arts programs, so dancing and singing and rapping and kind of the whole gang, and we traveled around the world and did the whole thing.
And did you homeschool during this, or was it during the summers?
So I had dropped out of high school,
okay,
and then later got my GED to go to college.
Got it. What was the deciding factor to drop out of high school?
School was never for me.
Yeah,
definitely not.
I didn't do too well either, my friend.
I was on a quick track to go to jail.
Yeah,
and so music was, that one thing that got me out.
That's where I landed. I got arrested and ended up. I got expelled from school, so I had to homeschool, and then this is after I got out of juvenile hall. I was in house arrest for like 6.5 months. So finished all my high school there, but then went my senior year because my dad had moved. My mom and dad moved, so I wanted to move with them, and before I joined the Navy, and then went my senior year. But I already had all the credits to graduate from homeschooling that year, so I took ceramics, home ec, weightlifting, and PE. I was just trying to get fit and meet girls.
Fair enough.
So yeah, but then I didn't go to college. So I was like 30. But yeah, it just now I have 3 little girls. They're 5, 7, and 9, and I look at college and school through a different light now. Like what is the purpose of college, right? If you're going to be, a doctor, an attorney, a CPA or something, I understand, right? But other than that, like, I'm just not a believer to like go to college just to go to college anymore, right? If you want to call it what it is, like, hey, I want to go to college
to network,
have fun, and meet some folks, and where I decide what I do in life. Okay, that's a reason, but I don't believe in just going to go just because society tells us that's what we need to do now. I think that's fucked up.
I definitely think the only thing I got out of college was connections and networking.
Yeah.
I went to more parties and gigs than I did go to class,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can imagine you were probably playing a lot of music around your college and at your college too, right? For parties and
we
shit
always
like that?
say it's like not cool to be a musician at our college. Not everybody at school is pretty badass musicians, so it was a cool thing. Every event had some kind of a cool band. There's a lot of funk happening in college, so a lot of funk bands, a lot of soul bands, and just seeing kids that you've never seen play music before get up on stage, and you're like, why don't you do this for a living? I remember this kid, I can't remember his name, but he was like super smart guy, always in the science and math complex, never left. And then they would have a competition every year, and every year he would come out and play the fiddle and wear everybody out, win the competition, and leave. And be like, who is that kid? And
do these kids, do they go back to their room and just, like, that's all they do is play the fiddle? Or is he just that naturally gifted at
There's
the
a lot
fiddle?
of those kids who, the college I went to, Lee University, it's a Church of God denomination, and they're like really music centric.
Okay.
So a lot of those kids, they've grown up their whole lives. They have a big thing called teen talent, and they all battle to see who's the best at each instrument their entire teenage years. So they've been like, grinding it for so long, and now they're just like, watch what I can do.
So you said your dad dropped you off on a motorcycle. Do you have a motorcycle now?
I do not. That's one of my quickest ways to get in trouble, so I stay off of them.
Have you had one in the past?
I have, and gotten my fair share of trouble with it. So.
What type of bikes did you have?
I'm a big, not a big guy, so I like Sportsters and raking them out and seeing how long we can make it.
Yeah.
Sissy bar it up, and, see what the ride is. I've had a couple. We used to take. I lived in Anna Maria Island for a little while, and we were taking these Yamaha Viragos and bobbing them out, making little island hoppers.
I've seen those. Yeah. See, I bought my first and only bike in 2005 overseas. They had this program where, granted, I was making like $650 a month, right? And overseas, they have Jeep, I think Harley, Ford, and maybe Chevy, I forget. But if you buy that vehicle overseas on deployment, it's tax-free. And so my brother has a Harley, my dad had one, and my brother convinced me to buy one. I'm like, oh, so I bought it brand new, right? My note was like $350 a month. You know, and I was bringing home $650.
Yeah, half the paycheck.
But I figured it out. It's still in my garage. Still ride it. But it was an '06 Fat Boy I bought in '05 and in November of '05, and I put I think 18-inch apes on it, and like it's just a fun bike. And now it's paid off sitting in the garage, and I just I have trouble selling shit anyway. But I think I just always have it, man. You know, I just like cruising at like 45, 50 mile an hour. You know what I mean? Especially out towards Leapers and all around here. It's just beautiful.
Get that wind in the face.
You know what I mean?
That's what I love about living in Florida. You know, viewer discretion advised, but you don't have to wear a helmet. So
yeah.
Just cruising on the beach with the wind in your face. And
so I used to like that, and then
Then you fall down a couple times.
No, I have not crashed yet on my bike.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, I know, right? No shit. I was doing a lot of riding out near Fort Smith, Arkansas, and I don't know if there's a helmet law there or not, but the speed limit's like 80. You know, so everybody's cruising at 85,
right.
90 mile an hour in the fast lane. And I just wear one of those cheater helmets, and, but then, after rolling around there at like 95 mile an hour everywhere, I bought not a full face, but it's kind of like an old school looking one, you know what I'm talking about? Where just the face
dome helmet kind of?
Yeah, exactly. So I got one of those, and that's what I wear now. And I got kids and shit,
Now
so.
you got something to
you know
worry
what I mean?
about.
When did you move to Nashville?
I moved to Nashville March the 1st of 2023.
Okay.
Had been in Chattanooga for a while. There's a crazy music scene that not a lot of people know about down there. Crazy music history.
Yeah.
Some of the most rich music history in the South has been in Chattanooga.
Really?
In the past. Home of the first Billboard #1 was the Chattanooga Choo Choo song.
Okay.
Home of Bessie Smith, the Queen of the Blues.
Yeah.
Home of the Impressions. Home of Clyde Stubblefield, the most sampled drummer of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Home of the largest guitar collection in the world.
I did not know that about Chattanooga.
There's a lot of music down there,
Really?
and a lot of music scenes that go down in there too. Because there's a couple music schools there, and it's just kind of like a hub between Nashville and Atlanta, where a lot of cats stay because it's 2 hours to Nashville, 2 hours to Atlanta, 2 hours to Birmingham. It's a good spot to tour out of.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of musicians.
Do you think that geographic location makes artists write in a different way or songs to sound a different way? The reason I asked is because Nashville's Nashville, North Carolina's North Carolina, and almost that area almost reminds me of a little bit of West Virginia in a way. You have the mountains around,
Absolutely.
and I just wonder if the mountains have influence on the music.
I think definitely, just because, I mean, you look up in Chattanooga. You look up downtown, all you see is buildings. You look up downtown Chattanooga, you see a mountain in every direction.
Exactly.
It's a bowl of them. You can't help but drive 10 minutes this way and see a waterfall or do something. So I definitely think it impacts it. The Native Americans said that the Tennessee River is if I'm saying this correctly, the Nonusay River is the singing river, and it runs right through Chattanooga. And so they used to say that there were spots where you could get to the river and get quiet enough, you'd hear the river singing back to you. So there's a lot of lore about the
I like that.
musical hotspots connected to that river, and Chattanooga is definitely one of them.
Interesting. So how long were you in Chattanooga before you moved to Nashville?
6 or so years, but never like spending an entire year there. It'd be 6 months here, 6 months in LA, 6 months in Atlanta, kind of just bouncing around. But worked in Chattanooga for a long time doing, framing houses, laying brick, cleaning chimneys, kind of whatever I could get my hands on to pay for the gigs that night.
And then what brought you to Nashville ultimately?
Honestly, I came to Nashville the first time. We had opened for Dwight Yoakam, and I think that was 2021 or 2022.
I hear nothing but great things about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if your experience is the same, but
we never got to meet him. So.
Okay. A lot of folks I've had on have been on tour with him or written songs with him and things of that, and everyone just praises that man.
He's a legend. We never got to meet him, unfortunately, but would love to one day, Dwight, if you're listening.
Yeah.
But we did the tour with him, and an agent from Nashville called us from a company, and they're like, hey, we'd love to meet with you. We came and met with them. We had like a 3-hour meeting, which was to be like 30 minutes. And by the end, they're like, don't talk to anyone else. We'd love to work with you. I was like, well, I'm meeting with so-and-so in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So then they put me in an email to like a lot of the major publishing companies in town. Hey, you guys should write with this guy. He's kind of doing his thing. And I went from having no rights to my first 5 Fridays in Nashville. I wrote with Jonathan Singleton, who's a legendary writer in Nashville. And it kind of just like started catching on. I was getting in a room with a lot of those more seasoned, successful guys, and they kept telling me the same thing. Every room they were saying, you got to be present to win. And so I was like, okay, I can write here all day long, but what am I missing out on every night? Those 2 hours I'm driving back to Chattanooga, what bar could I be networking at, or this concert, and kind of just narrowed down to that. And it was, definitely a tenfold thing. As soon as I moved here, I felt like the wheels just kept on rolling so much faster than they were losing that 2 hours back and forth.
You know, I did a similar move here to Nashville. I moved here in August of 23, and I retired out of the Navy, and Jay and I started our company Outsider, and I just know myself, and I was comfortable up there living by the beach, but I wanted to move down here for that almost the exact reason. First of all, I need to put my back against the wall, right, and burn the ships and go all in because I know myself. And then second of all, if I thought to myself, okay, if I'm really going to do this, and live down there, I need to be out there all the time, networking, meeting folks, you know, who's who, and, you know, who can we collaborate with, and so on and so forth. So I don't think you could do that from afar.
And you think you can until you actually show up and like, oh, wait, like I would have not been able to do this or meet this person or that, or like so many opportunities like that where I would have not been in town, I would have not had the next step to where I needed to go, you know?
And I also believe there's, you know, a lot of relationships are formed at about 12:30 at the bar, you know?
4 or 5 Jack Daniels deep.
Absolutely, because you're speaking the truth, right? And then you I'm going to say, I'm not going to say you get dirt or anything like that, but you have the ability to build rapport on more of a truth level.
Yeah, 100%. Defense mechanisms are down, and everybody's just having a good time being who they are.
Yep.
Share a cigarette and enjoy it.
Yeah. So good on you for that. So talk to me about, I'm going to say, the hip hop influence in your music. How did that start, and you know, how is it still have a play in it? And walk me through that.
I mean, I think being a kid from the South, from the 90s, I mean, you can't not be influenced by Southern hip hop.
Yeah.
Between Wayne and Boosie and Petey Pablo and, you know, the legends.
I used to love Petey Pablo.
Yeah, you can't not be influenced by that, you know. So I would be going to school in high school, and I'm listening to country music on the way to school. But when it was time to go play the game that night, you know, I had Mind of a Maniac by Boosie on, and I'm ready to go wreak havoc on the field. So it's definitely always been an influence of mine. I've always been, you know, really inspired by the way hip hop approaches the creativity and image side of the music. I feel like they're always maybe a step ahead in the music videos and stuff like that. So I always just kind of was inspired by that. Then when I was traveling with the gospel group, you know, there's a lot of hip hop influences in that and hip hop artists that we were traveling with. So I got to spend a lot of time with those guys. Yeah. And then in Chattanooga, I was involved in a studio house where I was the only country guy living with like 7 or 8 rappers and R&B artists. So I was around it every single day. And I attest a lot of my abilities to record and, you know how to hold myself in a studio to those guys. I learned how they record, and they're very methodical about how they approach it and breath control and things like that. And so I was like, okay, cool. Like I can take this, you know, the way they phrased this cadence in a verse and apply it to country music and give it that John Michael Montgomery souled kind of little vibe to it. And little things like that started realizing I was like, okay, you know, take a little piece of this from that and a little Ray Charles from here and a little Hank Jr. from here and kind of make the hodgepodge sound. But it's still always going to be in there a little bit, especially too with what we do graphically and image-wise, it'll always have a piece in it. You
know, for folks trying to conceptualize this, is it more of a Colt Ford feel, you know, or is it just more of a foundational?
I think it's less of like a Colt Ford in the sense of like the music or artistry that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because I'm a country artist at heart, and we're going to sing cowboy songs for cowboys, but we're going to approach it through the lens, you know, the lens I learned how to make music from is the same lens of Hank Jr. and Lil Wayne, and I think I just approached the creativity from that foundation-wise.
Do you know anyone else who has done that?
I think a lot of them have. They probably just haven't said so.
Yeah. Why do you think they just don't want to say it because of their audience, or don't want to say it for what reason?
You know, I'm new to this all, so I can only say so much, but I think a lot of people are worried about, like, you know, in a day and age when it's country music, it's like there's so much hate you get on the internet. That's not country. It's got to be this to be country and that. And it's like, well, who's defining what's country? Because my country friends listen to both of these songs growing up. So what's the difference? You know, the country guys made these songs just because they look differently than you. They're from the same state that you're from, and your state is a southern state. So them country folk, you know.
My favorite country artist is George Jones, but then again, one of my favorite songs or albums is The Chronic 2001, right? So it falls directly in line. And I'm willing to guess, like, those old hip-hop albums, all country music singers probably, or the majority of them, really like those 100%. Old albums. 100%.
They're undeniable records.
Yeah, right? I want to bangers.
Like, go to take your top 40 country artists, put them in a room and play Many Men by 50 Cent and count who sings the lyrics to them. Like, okay, like, I guarantee you 85% of them cats are going to know the words, at least to the chorus.
Now, do you think you'll ever take it a step further, and do a collaboration and bring in a hip hop artist? And that's been done, in country music quite a bit already, but is that something you have an appetite for?
I don't know that I would ever approach it from the stance of like, hey, I'd like for you to come be on my song, but I'm definitely open to the idea of being on someone else's song. Because I don't want to, I want it to make sense,
Yeah.
I don't know that sonically it would make sense to be the vice versa of that, but would love to work. Always down for collaboration.
For sure. Like T-Pain singing Tennessee Whiskey.
I'll do anything with T-Pain.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
We can sing the alphabet all day long. I'm down. We'll trade lyrics.
Right. Or
letter for letter.
Or DMX singing like, what was it, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Yes.
Like, just sick shit like that, right?
Very
super
down.
Cool. So what's next for you? What do you have coming up?
We just put out our Redneck and You Know It, so we got music video coming out for that.
Yeah.
Got some cool stuff. Doing a full day with Pastrana Land at the end of the month.
Now, is that out in Maryland?
It is.
All right.
So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
We were sitting up last night just watching all the videos of Marshawn Lynch and everything. Like, oh yeah, I want to try this. Do you think you want to do a double backflip?
Yeah,
I don't want to try one.
That's what I was going to ask. What are you going to try?
Whatever they let me.
Yeah.
For 100%. Me and my little brother talked about it and we're like, all right, like, if one of us tries it, the other one has to try. He's like, all right, bet. Which was a terrible deal that I made on my part.
Yeah.
'Cause my brother is
wide open.
He has zero restraint, so he's going to be gone. I'm like, all right, cool. I guess we're jumping off of this. So, got that coming up. Some fun shows coming up this summer. A lot of new music that I'm excited about. We've been working for the last year and a half on building a record. So this year we'll release our first album with MCA and Republic, and just to even say that is wild for me. I think that's the first time I said that live together, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
When's that come out?
September.
Okay. And for folks that haven't heard your music, what would you say you relate to? Like outlaw country, give them just a little taste of the genre of country you are.
I always think that's kind of a difficult question to ask just because it's such a melting pot of music.
It is, yeah.
I'm not the only guy in the band who played gospel music. A lot of the cats in the band did. So we always say we play like, gospel, outlaw, country. I don't know, because it's sometimes has the outlaw streaks in it. We always kind of compare it to a baseball field. So like left field is the outlaw stuff that we do, talk about how we grew up and where we're from. Right field is we like to have fun with what we do. And that's another thing I take from hip hop is they always had fun songs on the records. And so like Cows in the Front Yard, and if you're redneck, it's like, we're going to have a good time doing this. So that's kind of our right field. And then center field is, we're going to play old school country, the stuff that we grew up wanting to play and what we love, honky tonk, and what we think, George Strait would be proud of and George Jones would be proud of. So it's kind of a mix of all of those. Just depends on what part of the set you catch us in.
Do you see hip hop artists bringing that same sort of fun throughout their whole career, or just like the studio and songwriting portion of it?
I feel like it's kind of their whole career to an extent, but I think it's situational depending on the artist, but the music video is always fun. The on stage is always fun. The award shows are always fun. It's like, I feel like country music is one of the genres that it is a very serious genre, but it's sometimes taken way too serious. Yeah. And it's, a little staunch, and it's like, let's just have fun.
I think is I look at it through the business lens, right? And, not necessarily from the artist, but more of the business side. And, and I have a hard time sometimes because I just get bogged down in work and, always working towards that next ridge line, right? You're always working. And then you look up and you're like, man, maybe I should just go have some fun because we've done some cool shit in the last 2 years and I just need to be a little bit more thankful. So maybe they're, the hip hop side, maybe they're just more thankful for the day that they're living, and or they're not looking at the next ridge line with their nose down. One or the other. Or a little bit of both, you know what I mean?
Which is where I'm kind of trying to be in the middle of both of those too. If I could figure out the perfect balance of that, that sounds like harmony.
What do you think is the greatest song ever written?
That is easily the most loaded question of all time. The greatest song ever written.
I got a couple of them. I'll go first. What do you think?
You gonna do just like all time, all genre?
Yeah.
Or like,
yep.
What do you got?
The first one that I have up there would be George Jones. He Stopped Loving Her Today.
Smash.
Right, and then followed by For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica.
Two
right,
total opposites, but
and then Still Dre. Like there's different genres, but those are some epic songs, I think.
I get a lot of hate from the band because they always say he was singing flat, but Long Distance Lover by Little Feat is probably one of my top songs of all time.
I've never heard it.
Oh, Little Feat is the greatest band that never was.
I'm gonna write this down right now so I can listen to it on the ride home.
Oh yeah,
Long Distance Lover.
Long Distance Lover, incredible song. Could have been a huge band in the 70s. Lost the lead singer to drug overdose, but they were incredible. I'm trying to think. Greatest country song of all time, in my opinion.
So what genre is that? Long Distance Lover.
70s. I'm just gonna call. I don't know. It's like they were doing a lot of drugs and having a lot of good time. They were just making good music. I don't really know what you would call it. It's a little soul, little R&B, little. I don't know.
Yeah.
They were out there.
All right. They didn't make it out of the 70s though.
Yeah, they were figuring it out.
All right.
Greatest song. I don't know. I think it's easy for me to say like my favorite artist of all time than greatest song. There's so many incredible songs.
Artists.
Favorite artist of all time is Ray Charles.
Really?
Or God, maybe just Ray Charles. I don't know. Ray Charles he's that dog country western. Mm-hmm. Obviously Willie's up there.
The Mess Around. It's a great song.
Come on, man.
You know what I mean?
He said, "Last night I heard you dreaming and I heard you say, 'Oh Johnny, when you know my name is Ray.' Oh, I believe it." I'm like, come on.
Dude, he's good to go. So how did you and your band get together?
We've kind of a array of ways.
Yeah.
One of the guys in the band, shout out Jake Hess, he plays with us and sings. We went to college together, so we've known each other for quite a while. And then kind of just hodgepodged around there. We met our pedal steel player. He was traveling with us when he was 17, and he just turned 18.
Pedestal player, what's that?
Like pedal steel guitar.
Okay, got it.
And we found him off of an online audition thing. We posted like, "Hey, looking for pedal steel," and somebody sent us a video of him playing.
Oh, steel.
Oh yeah,
like a steel guitar.
Yes,
got
sir.
It, got
That's
it.
that North Carolina accent slipping out right there.
I can't hear where the shit either. So,
but he was playing pedal steel in a church and just shouting it up on Sunday morning. I was like, oh yeah, he's got our DNA. And so we called his mom and daddy, and they came up to Nashville. We did a little or like a teacher conference with him, and they let him go on the road with us, and he toured with us. He just turned 18, so now we don't have too much of the worries anymore. Kind of letting him figure out his own path now.
Yeah, I bet he is.
No more babysitting.
Yeah. Was he out of high school already?
He's still in high school.
Oh no shit. So did he go back home to go to high school, or is he living here?
So we did a show last Tuesday, or this past Tuesday, and he drove up Monday from Daytona. Mm-hmm. We played a show Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, he got in the truck, drove back down to Daytona, and he's just been running back and forth. Shout out to Sawyer.
Good for that kid.
He's a kid. He's a legend.
Yeah. What gigs you have coming up here in the short term? Do you have any? Are you playing downtown or playing anywhere around here?
Not around here anytime soon that I know of. We have a lot of radio shows coming up, so we're getting into the news part of the game that I haven't really figured out yet. So I really don't know jack shit about. So we'll be doing a lot of shaking hands and kissing babies for the next couple months, playing a lot of radio shows. I know we have Rock the Country coming up this summer. We're playing that in Buffalo and Ocala, or I think it's Buffalo, right outside of Buffalo. Mm-hmm. And then got some prospective tours coming out right now. We haven't announced those yet, so can't say too much, but we got some fun stuff coming. Cool. A lot of fun shows.
That's super cool. Bull riding thing you just did, right? Mm-hmm. Are you going to incorporate that when you're on the road at all?
As far as?
Just, I don't know, I
got one more in me.
All right.
One more in me. I made a deal with someone that I would give it up and take care of my body a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty banged up over the years of all the getting after it. So got one more we're going to do. It'll be a little special treat. We'll do it this fall in Nashville. But I'm always involved, trying to get involved with any rodeo situation I can, whether it be playing. I know like April 25th, we'll be back home playing the family rodeo, and that'll be a good time. So, you do any hunting and fishing growing up? What's funny is I hunt as much as I can now, but I didn't hunt as a kid. I didn't have anybody in my family that hunted or that to take me hunting or anything like that, and no access to land. So it was one of those things where a lot of my friends hunted, and I would learn from it with talking with them, but never got the option to. I fished a lot growing up. We hit the Santee Cooper in South Carolina and catfish and stuff. But when I got to Nashville, I always told my little brother, like, one day I'm going to leverage country music into us getting to go hunting. And he's like, all right, let's go. And then I met a guy in Nashville named Rob Hatch. I don't know if you know who that is.
No, I do not.
He's a legendary writer, been writing hits for 20 years. But he's like the godfather of country music hunting. And
really?
He got all the properties, know the people with the properties. And he's like, hey, man, if you come play 6 songs here for this night, we can hunt this property tomorrow. And I'm like, sold. So we've been getting after it pretty heavy.
Did you do some deer hunting this last year?
I did. I shot a buck in right outside of, you ever heard of El Cazador?
No, I have not.
So like early 2000s, it was like the Bucks of Tecumate. Do you remember that show on TV? So that's the El Cazador Ranch. So I hunted their neighbor's property in December, which was unreal. Because, you know, you're like, all season I've been chasing them in Tennessee and Illinois with a bow. And it's the first time I'm getting in with a rifle. But it's like, you know, you're seeing deer that are like, you can't even believe this is real. And he's like, oh, no, you can't shoot that one. We're going to save and see what he looks like next year. And you're like, no.
So I grew up similar. You know, I didn't start deer hunting until 2008 time frame because my father, you know, wasn't a deer hunter. I grew up waterfowl hunting with one of my friend's dads, and he showed me the ropes there. But then I moved to Virginia Beach, and a guy in my platoon, his friend's dad had a lease. So I went out there and started hunting with him. His name was Ron Pogue, and just the coolest old man, right? He drank.
Nothing better than a cool dude, a cool old man hunting.
Full set of like silver hair, full head of silver hair, and walked out of this old hunting shack that we had, you know, and he'd smoke Pall Mall non-filters like it was his job, drinking PBR. Right, and he taught me everything, and he was from Kentucky. He had a hell of an accent, also, right? Big old Southern drawl, and so I'm real thankful for him. He passed, you know, fairly recently, but just a super cool guy, and passed down all that knowledge. But you know, in Virginia, they run dogs where we were for deer, right? So if you still hunt like we did, the pressure's so high that you really don't see much, and then. Through one of my friends invited me to go to Texas and hunt at his buddy's ranch and get down there. My buddy now is one of my dear friends now. His name is John Hughes. And sitting out there in Texas for the first time, that feeder goes off. I see more deer in 15 minutes than I saw in the last 2 fucking years.
It's insane. It's like, truly insane.
What? And so then I just looked at him like, okay, where every time I go up to my hunt club, you know, it's like my release costs this. You know, every weekend I'm buying, you know, beer, food, and bringing poker money, and you know that comes and goes. And then looked at him like, well, shit, for this I can go to Texas 4 times a year, and so that's what I started doing.
Have the time of my life.
Yep.
We got in trucks, and it was the first morning, and I'd never seen anything like that, and. We're driving to the stand, and he pulls this lever out from underneath his seat and starts hitting the button.
Oh, and I throwing that corn
off the back of the truck, and I was like, "Yo, we're here. We're about to have a good time,
dude." What am I
shooting bucks and javelinas and?
Oh, that's the best.
Oh yeah, they come out 30 at a time and just.
Yep.
You got your buck already? Let's lay into him.
Yep. You know, one of my good buddies, we got to his ranch, and he had the same thing, and we'd drive this huge loop, and you know that he had. We'd corner all the roads and keep driving it, you know. And this is in the evening. Then hogs would come out, and we'd hop out and blast the hogs.
Oh yeah,
and we do that all night.
And such a good time. They said we were gonna talk about hunting today. I was like, oh, let's go. I'm down. Let's talk about some hunting now.
Then I started hunting in Texas often. You know, now I go, you know, every year, you know, a couple times a year to hunt out there, and that's where I learned about like I'm not gonna say the mechanics, but the conservation side of deer hunting. Like you said, like, oh, that deer isn't ready yet. So that deer is probably like a massive 3.5-year-old.
Right.
And I didn't know, you know, any of this.
Is his belly sagging or not?
Yep, exactly. Because in Virginia, if it came out, I was shooting it. Like if I saw it, I was shooting it. Because, you know, I'd go 6-7 days out seeing a deer. Right. And it's just now it's just a different outlook on it. Like from the
you enjoy it more that way too.
Absolutely. And
you
now,
get more out of what you kill, and the whole experience.
100%. And, you know, Jay has a nice ranch up in Kentucky. And what's super cool is now seeing like the 2.5-year-olds that are 3.5-year-olds, and they're getting bigger. And now it's like, okay, what are they going to be in 2 years?
You name them and you know what's going to come.
They're all named, right?
There's Macho Man and there's Hulk Hogan.
Yep, exactly. They're all named, and there's pictures of them on a board. And then when someone shoots them, then they move into the rest of the RIP board, and you sign the pictures. But it's cool watching and learning about deer from like that perspective, like 100%. The deer management perspective is super cool. But have you done any other hunting besides deer hunting?
Turkey and duck.
Yeah. I'm
ate up with turkey hunting right now. We had a good duck hunt this year. I'd never been, and they took me up to Illinois, and it's the first morning, and they've been telling me like, yo, you're kind of ruined on duck hunting because it's the first morning. We're in a timber hole, and you know we're at waist deep. And all of a sudden, it's right about to break light, and the sky went black again, and it was the most ducks I'd ever seen. And the guide literally said, everybody put your guns down and just watch this. You'll never see this again. He's like, I ain't never seen this many ducks in one spot. And this is my first time, so I'm just like, holy shit. Like, is this what it's always like?
No.
Yeah, they're holding me. They're like, bro, you don't understand. So they all fly back out, and he's like, all right, the next wave comes in. We're putting them down. And right before we can see him kind of off in the distance, and he goes, all right, boys, shotguns down. Nobody can shoot anything until Dalton kills his first duck. So now all the pressure's on me, and I'm like, all the guys look at me like, bro, this is the best duck hunt we've ever seen. You better not fuck this up. And so then, he came wafting down, and I put the first one down, and I looked over, and Rob Hatch is just, and then we limited out before like 9 o'clock, and then did it again the next morning.
Really?
And so they were like, this is not what duck hunting is like.
I can't say I've ever limited out duck hunting. Maybe I have when I was younger, but not that I remember as an adult anyway. But, I'll go duck hunting, and I'm fine with like just shooting a couple times, because you're sitting there, you can get last time I went duck hunting was, went out with Brantley Gilbert and, his manager Aaron, that whole crew, and we're out there, and they have a flat stone back here cooking breakfast, and shit. I didn't even care about hunting at that
just
point.
Kicking
Dude,
it.
we were laughing, like it was just a great time, So I love that aspect of duck hunting or waterfowl hunting,
The social part of it.
Yeah, for sure. Same with upland game, like pheasant hunting. Is super fun like that. You're just walking and bullshitting.
That's like you through a field spread out, right?
Yep. And it's a weird thing. So my wife, all her family's from South Dakota, so real big into bird hunting, right? And when I first really got into it with them, they have blockers at the end of the field, so you're walking towards other folks, so the birds don't run in the next field and so on and so forth. But it's a little odd. Like, okay, I really don't know these people that well, and I'm like walking right at them. If a bird gets up, hopefully they let it get above my head, right? But I've never seen an incident, a bad incident happen.
No Dick Cheneys out there.
No. but there's been a couple close calls for sure, but not Dick Cheney close.
Whether you're trekking in the backcountry, bird hunting, or just chasing squirrels in the backyard, your dog needs fuel that can keep up with the adventure. And that's where Montana Dog Food comes in. Born in the heart of Big Sky Country, this isn't just dog food. It's adventure-grade nutrition. Crafted with responsibly sourced ingredients from the western U.S. and freeze-dried to lock in every ounce of goodness, Montana Dog Food Company delivers clean, powerful fuel for your pup's wild side. No shortcuts, no synthetic junk, just premium, nutrition-packed meals and treats designed to support strong muscles, healthy joints, and endless energy, whether you're trekking trails or snuggling by the fire. So give your dog the food that fuels their adventurous spirit. Go to montanadogfoodco.com and feed your dog the best.
So turkey hunting.
I'm ate up with it.
Really? How long you been turkey hunting?
This will be my second year turkey hunting.
Really?
This past year was like a big year for me of just like diving into hunting as much as I could. I got riding with Rob Hatch, and he was like, what do you want to go fishing in this spot in Florida, or we wait to go duck hunting, and let's go turkey hunting? He was like, well, I've never been turkey hunting. Let's go. And we were supposed to write. We had like 4 days scheduled. We were supposed to write most of it and get a couple turkey hunts in. We might have wrote for 3 hours that trip, and I was just like ate up. I was like, we're turkey hunting all day long. And then after that, I was like, the boys went back to town, and I was like, Rob, let's turkey hunt. So we turkey hunted almost every day the rest of the season, and kind of just bounced around the South. And
were you guys running and gunning, or sitting and calling, or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. Kind of just depend. There was different properties we were hunting at. So Rob is very much like it don't matter what we're hunting. He's like, look, we're gonna get on top of it and kill it. And so he's like, he's doing wild stuff. He fanning out and have me lay a shotgun over his shoulder. He's like, let's creep through this field together. And it's my first time. I'm like, holy shit! I feel like Superman out there.
Turkey hunting, has a lot of similarities to elk hunting.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard that with like the calling and them calling back to you and stuff.
So if you love turkey hunting, you'll love elk hunting.
Yeah, I haven't been yet.
Dude, I killed my first elk a couple years ago out in Montana, and it was my first bull. Then I killed a cow this year for meat. I didn't have a bull tag, but I went and chased them all over Arizona as well. Didn't get one, but gave it hell for a week straight. But it's that same type of interaction with the animal. And
I feel like there's more adrenaline to that. It's like, let's get out in this field and
I'm just
figure out how to
I'm just going ahead and say it's a little scary.
Yeah, it is. I can imagine with the elk
because I bow hunt, I rifle hunt also. But
you killing the elk with a bow?
Yeah.
Whew, that's gangster.
And typically, you know, you want to get as close as you can, right? And these are massive animals.
Trying to get 40 yards
Oh,
from
dude.
And a Nissan Altima out there.
You know what I mean? And I haven't had any, like, let's see, real close encounters with big bulls, but, you know, you'll call a cow or a spike right up to you. You know, I think right before I shot my bull, we had a young bull come up and a spike, and he was just a little further away than you are. To me, just stand there. I'm like, that thing could turn and like
give you a real rough
ruin
day.
my fucking day.
It's always wild, like what calls when you're not wanting to. We had a time this past turkey season. We're sitting out there. And it's like 5:45, about to be 6 o'clock. We got the decoy set up, and me and Rob are in this perfect brush line. We'd been seeing these times and feeling like, okay, we're gonna get one out here today. And then all of a sudden, you just hear this, whoosh, and right out of the bushes, like maybe from us to 5-6 feet off, this coyote comes blasting out, smashes the decoy, and then takes off. And then I was just looking at Rob like, did that really just happen? And he's like, bro, I've never seen anything like that before. And I was like, kind of gave me a little second thought of how I was going to call the next time. I was like, make sure I can be know where what's behind me next time I start calling.
I've never heard of that. There's a guy in my old hunting lease. His nickname was Bobcat because he was doing the same thing, and a bobcat came up behind a tree and smoked him, scratched him to shit. Had to go to the hospital, get stitches and everything like that. Yeah. And
luckily, when it hit the decoy, there's like big old teeth marks in the decoy, but it was so.
Did you shoot it?
No, it was like hard. We didn't see it coming. It was like right beside us, so it darted out, and as soon as it hit it, we were so surprised what happened. Yeah. And it was surprised. It just took off running back into the woods, and me and Rob just kind of sat there in silence for a second, like, I can't believe that just happened. And of course, we didn't see a turkey in that field the rest of the day after that.
That's why I love hunting, and I call it tree stand therapy, man. You go out there and the woods comes alive in the morning, the sun's rising. You really don't know what you're going to see.
100%.
And animals do weird shit. And if they don't know you're there and your wind's right, you can just keep watching them do odd things that you've
all day
never
long.
seen before. Yeah, it's the coolest thing in the freaking world.
That's the best way to wake up in the world is with a 20 gauge in your lap, leaned up against a tree.
Yes, sir.
Watch the sun come up. And
then, and the evenings are beautiful in their own right. I like mornings more, and even though typically everywhere I've hunted, the evening's a little bit better of a hunt, but the reason I don't like the evenings is because the sun's going down. Shit, you got to wait a whole nother day before you go out there, or at least a cycle of darkness. But in the mornings, you can look forward to the evening hunt. Like, oh, you almost came.
I got another one.
You know what I mean? You used to have one more in the bag for the day. But
depending on where you are, you just get the spotlight out.
For hogs or something, yeah. I
had a funny moment. We were at the Landman season 2 premiere, and one of the guys on there, he was talking. He was like, "Yeah, back in the day, we might have spotlighted this property once or twice." And another guy on the show was like, "Hey, that's crazy, man. I just bought that property." And he was like, his eyes got real big. He's like, "Wait, you're the one?" And it was a very funny little interaction there for a second.
So how was that? And how'd you get your song on Landman?
So I just got a phone call, and Billy Bob Thornton, Ronnie Bowman, and Mark Colley had written a song called Fireproof, and they got a phone call, "Hey, would you want to cut this song?" And it's for Billy Bob Thornton. I was like, "Yeah, right, whatever. Like, keep playing." And they're like, "No, it really is." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure." I was like, "When do you need it by?" "Today at 10 o'clock." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I was actually hunting that morning. We leave the deer stand and was in Nunley out west. And so, driving an hour back in, get in the studio, and I was like, all right, Mess, we got like, an hour and a half. And so we cranked down on it, record it, send it back out. And then they're like, we love this. What are you doing tomorrow? You want to go to New York for the premiere of season 2? And I was like, sure. And jump on a plane, fly to New York, and just thought I was going to get to just, be there or whatever. And next thing you know, I'm walking the red carpet behind Sam Elliott. And I was named after the movie Roadhouse, which is,
all right.
I'm looking at Sam Elliott, I'm like, wow, this is full circle, and got to shake his hand, and then I'm upstairs, and next thing you know, I'm on the patio smoking a cigarette, and then I'm sharing a cigarette, smoking with Billy, and we're shooting the shit, and he was like, man, I'll be at Nashville in 2 weeks, and we kept talking, and next thing you know, we're on the soundtrack, so
hell yeah.
Kind of one of those things, right time, right place.
Yeah. We had Whiskey Myers on a bit ago, and Cody and those guys are talking. They got a very similar thing, but for Yellowstone. And they got a call like, yeah, we want you to do this song for Yellowstone, or I don't know if they went on the show to play it or it was in the soundtrack, I forget. But they're like, they all did it just because they thought they'd meet Kevin Costner. They're like, hell yeah, there's a chance we'll meet Kevin Costner. Fuck yeah, we're in. and we never met him.
I gave Billy Bob and Mark a hard time. When I first met him, Ronnie wasn't there, and I don't know if you know Ronnie Bowman. He's a bluegrass legend, and so obviously they're two legends in their own right. But I was giving them a rib, and I was like, I was excited that you guys wrote the song, but I wasn't really sure. Then I saw Ronnie Bowman wrote on it, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to sing it. And they're like, to hell with Ronnie Bowman. I'm Billy Bob Thornton. And I was like, well, that's Ronnie Bowman now.
Have you ever looked into any bear hunting?
I got a buddy, I don't know if you know Dallas Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good buddy of mine, and we were doing the Music City Gun Club in December, and his buddies that were down there, like, hey, we run. One of them is a bear guide in Newfoundland, I think, and he was like, this coming year, if you want to go, let's go. So I had never really thought about it, but I guess now that they're talking about it, I was like,
how do they hunt them up there? Do they run dogs or is it still hunting?
I don't really know. I didn't really, break down too much convo about it, but he was just like, yo, if you're interested, give me a call next year. I was like,
I've been looking for an outfitter here in Tennessee. I'm sure there's got to be one out east somewhere, but I went up to Caribou, Maine a handful of years, shooting bears. But the reason I ask is bear hunting is one of my favorites.
Really?
I don't know why, but I just love bears. I think they're the coolest thing. I shot that bear in Maine, and there's
what
some
was
people.
the yell like?
What's
I always
that?
hear they like scream crazy when you shoot them.
Yeah, so that happened to me twice. I think I've shot 3 bears, and so the first one was in Virginia, up in Northern Virginia in Luray, and it was my first time ever bear hunting. I think it was 2008, and it was over Thanksgiving break. So I used that whole break, drove up there, and I think I had 4 days. And it was with an outfitter, and I told the guide, like, hey, I want to sit all day. I want to go out there before the sun comes up, and I'll bring food, and don't pick me up till after the sun goes down, because I have a finite amount of time, and I'm not trying to, have you get a bear on camera at 1 PM when I'm taking a nap. And so did that. Then the last evening, I hear something on the side of this hill in a tree stand, so I'm about 20 foot up, but the hill is on a pretty big incline. So I hear something over my left shoulder, and I turn around and I look, and I see the back of something black, but it kind of sounds like a hog. And at this point in time, I don't think I've ever seen a bear in real life. No, I hadn't. And
what a wild way to go see one.
So I scraped the tree, and this bear looks up at me. I was like, holy shit, it's a bear. But now it's getting dark, right? Or the sun's going down, and I'm losing light, but it's directly behind me and not moving. So I thought it was going to walk up under my tree stand, but it was on the back side of this down log and like digging for grubs in this log, I assume. And so I managed to stand up, turn around, then straddle the tree stand, so the tree's in between my legs, and I put my left arm around the tree to rest my rifle on, and and it's about 50 yards away or
Definitely
so.
OSHA approved for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I was wearing a harness and everything. Don't worry about it. And scraped that tree one more time, and it looked up at me, and because I couldn't see its body or anything like that, and the guy told me, he's like, "Oh, you never want to shoot a bear in the face, and because their skulls are so thick and this and that." And I'm like, man, I'm just not buying that, man. And I said, I'm going to take a swing at this one, and scrape the tree with my elbow or with my forearm. And it looked up at me. I'm like, I'm going to shoot this sumbitch right in between the eyes. And boom, let one eat. And it just collapsed. I'm like, interesting. I'm like, perfect, right? And then it got up and started beating the ground and hitting this tree, then laid back down. I'm like, okay, now he's dead. Then he got up and just walked off like nothing happened, like 4 seconds later. And I'm not gonna lie, I just watched. I don't know why I didn't shoot him again. I have no reason, right?
Dumbfounded. You're like, what the hell's happening?
And I just watched this bear walk off. I'm like, what the hell? And then I lost him. And then all of a sudden I hear him, like the death growl, and I can hear him like gargling blood, like, and so I'm like, okay, he's dead. Text the outfitter. And I'm like, yeah, I shot a bear. I heard him do the death moan, and he's like, all right, I'll meet you at the bottom of the mountain. So I meet him down there, and I walked back up to where the stand was. I'm like, yeah, I shot him here. Then he actually climbed on top of this boulder and died. And it looks atrocious. It's just like blood everywhere, right?
Gruesome.
And he's like, well, here's the exit wound, and he found it like right here. And I'm like, all right, cool. And he's like, he flips the bear over, and he's looking. I can tell he's looking for the entrance wound. And then I'm doing the same thing. So because at first, I'm like, maybe I like hit his ear, or like just capped him right here, or something weird, right? So I'm looking at his face, and there's a tiny incision just off center. And but what had happened was he looked up at me, and he was downhill, and I was up in 20 foot up in the tree. So when I shot him, it went between his eyes and then down his throat, blew out his lung, and blew out his side.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and he still made it that far. So I think the bullet knocked him out initially, and then got up, got mad, and then passed out again, then got up and walked off and died. But and that was with the 308. That was my first, bear hunting experience. And then I shot that one in Maine. And, you have to shoot bears a lot further back than you have to shoot deer. And to the point where it feels, if you line up your crosshairs,
you feel like you're about to gut them.
That's exactly it. It's the weirdest thing in the world. So when I shot that one, it came out on like the last night of a 7-day hunt. He gets broadside, and I put it right in his armpit where I would shoot, a deer. That I moved back like an uncomfortable amount. I'm like, this is what they say. And I shot it, and he piled up 40 yards away. Yeah, and there was pink frothy blood all over the ground, so like double lunged him, so it was perfect. And then the last one I shot, I had my grandpa bought me this 35 Remington at a swap meet in Kentucky when I was like in 7th grade, and I just kind of got it refurbished and put a scope on it and everything, an old lever gun, and a bear walked in, and I just shot him right in the head. It closed him out right in between the eyes and didn't move.
Just dropped him.
Yeah. But
it's always wild when you shoot something, it disappears.
Yeah.
That buck I shot in Texas, I was like,
dude, it's heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. We ended up finding it. The buzzards found it, so I got a Euro mount of it. But I was like, there's like 6 of us out there looking for it, and there wasn't a drop of blood nowhere. And I'm like, I had the gun on a tripod and on a barrel stand, leaning out this window. I was like, I would have had to jerk that gun to have not hit it. I was like, there's no way I didn't hit this deer. And they're like, well, buddy, I think you missed it. I was like, I know I didn't miss this deer. And he was like kind of quartering to me, but not like a full quarter to me.
Yeah.
At like maybe like 160 yards. And I hit him, and he like, as soon as it hits him, he cuts back and runs off the other way. So I'm like, damn, maybe I did miss him. I'm like, go searching all night long. And he was probably 10 yards past where we searched at. And
really,
it was just in the thick South Texas brush and couldn't find him. We sent out drones, couldn't find him.
Really?
And then found him with the buzzards, and I was so mad. I was like, damn, what are the odds?
I shot a real nice deer in Texas this year up in Llano County, and I get bad buck fever. Like I'm shaking like a dog shitting a peach seed out there, I'm like, and so I have to like calm myself down. And this deer was, I'm talking 80 yards away, maybe ish, right? But I'm watching it for so long, and then there's other deer piled up on the road, so I have to wait for him to, wait for a clear shot with no other deer in the way, and then let him have it, and he runs off like nothing happened, and like he didn't like tighten up or anything like that. I'm like, come on, man, and then give it some time. We walked down the road, and luckily looked over and saw his white belly, 40 yards away. But I don't know how many times I've shot deer, and to that same thing. You look, but then you find them 10, 15 yards past where you look, or they're piled up in a thicket somewhere, and it's just it adds into a whole nother aspect into hunting. Right?
I was heartbroken when they sent the drones up the next day because they were doing what's it called? Like the land
survey,
survey, yeah,
or a count,
and they're doing the management for the herd, and they're like, well, yeah, we don't see it anywhere. They're like, we don't see it dead, but they also track them all. And they're like, not like, they're tracking them with the drones. They're like, but we don't see him alive either, so we know you shot him. But I remember I had to get on a plane the next day and fly to California for a show. And I'm like landing in Santa Monica, and the boys are like, we're at the beach, we're excited. And I'm just sick to my stomach. Like, I don't want to talk to nobody. Yep. I'm like, I'm going to the bar, and I'm going to look at pictures of this deer for the next week. And then I was on tour, and I get a picture sent of the Euro mount. Or they sent me like the face. They had found it, and it was, kind of ate up, so they went and cleaned it up for me. But
I'm sure, I've heard of this happening, getting a different hide.
Yeah, their reproductions or whatever.
Yeah. Get a hide from a different deer and throw it on there so you can have a shoulder mount.
Part of me wants to do it, and then part of me is like, it kind of goes with the story.
I'm with you. If it's already done, I'd let that story
And it looks
stay.
really clean, too, so I was like, all right, yeah, why not?
This last year or so, I've done a bunch of hunts with crossbows. And I personally have never shot an animal with a crossbow, but I'm going to use the word guided very loosely. I've taken people hunting, or I've hunted with people a lot over the last 12, 24 months that shot crossbows. I think crossbows are the most lethal weapon system you can hunt with.
It's a pretty gnarly way to go out.
Those ravens, you know, I don't know what they're shooting. They're good out to 100 yards, right? And I hadn't seen a deer go more than like 20 yards after it gets tightened up with a crossbow. Those things are killing machines.
But they get ripped apart on the internet.
You know, and I just don't care. But people say it's not real bow hunting, right? Is that the main thing?
I think so.
Yeah, but then they pick up a rifle later on in the
Yeah,
season.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's never real bow hunting until 2 weeks in the season you haven't shot anything with your bow, and it doesn't matter anymore. You're like, I just want to kill something.
Yep, because I've had the shooter hang up at 80 yards, you know, multiple times.
I had a pretty gnarly scare with a bow this year. We were in Illinois, and me and Lee Bryce played this. It was like a charity event for a hunt club, and raised a bunch of money for some kids. And then after the next morning, we were gonna get up, go hunt. Well, it was 5 degrees. And so everybody was like, man, maybe we should do it this way. So everybody gets in redneck blinds or pop-up blinds. And I was like, well, I don't have a muzzleloader tag. It's Illinois. So I was like, I guess I'm bow hunting. So I took my lone wolf and go climb up in a tree. It's 5 degrees outside. I was like, whatever, I'll probably hang out for a little while. I'm not going to see anything anyways. But because I was going to have the hardest hunt, they're like, we'll give you this field that no one's, and it's like patch of woods no one's hunted this season yet. And we don't know if anyone hunted it last season either. So I was like, okay, cool. The biggest buck I'd seen all season walks out, and I'm like, oh, I'm about to put it on these boys. And I'm in this tree stand, and I had a friction safety harness on that catches when you pull.
Yeah.
Well, it's too cold for the friction. So when I drew back on that bow, I leaned out all over the stand. Next thing you know, I'm just falling forward out of the stand and fall on top of my bow. Luckily, didn't get too bad banged up. It caught me at
You fell completely to the ground.
It caught me at like 2 feet off the ground by the side of my strap. So then it catches me and jerks me sideways. And I'm just like hanging in there, and I'm texting Rob. I was like, hey, you might want to send somebody over here. And I kind of crawled back to the truck. And they were like, what are you going to do? I was like, bro, that's the biggest buck I've ever seen. Let me get back out there. So the rest of the day I went and sat in a pop-up blind, and I never saw him again. But
So you use your harness or your safety retention as a way to
do things that I shouldn't do.
Yeah, lean out. Oh, I'm
trying to lean as far out of that Michael Jackson, that tree stand, as much as I can.
That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, 100%. Toes on the edge and just lean all the way.
Is that
out.
a common technique? I've never done that.
That's a saddle style that like all the saddle hunters do that.
Yep.
And all like Rob and all those guys are saddle hunters. So I learned watching those guys do it.
Yeah.
And it's not really like the best technique for the stand that I'm using, because I'm using a little like
the little lone wolf.
a little 0.5.
Yep.
And so it's not always the best, but I feel like with a bow, I'm like long enough that if I can lean out, I can shoot them at any direction. So I was like, let's go for it.
I don't
like to sit down
I've never stood up
at all
when shooting my bow.
Oh, I only stand up.
And that's how most people are.
Yeah.
You know, and for me,
you also got a little bit more size on me. I don't really, I can't be cold and trying to pull from a
I got enough shit I'm trying to keep together when a shooter walks out. You know, my heart's going. I'm like trying to put my release, you know, on, shaking, and standing up. Shit, I'd probably just fall off. You know, but so like, I always just shoot sitting down.
Rob and them, they all have like their bow hangers, and they're just kind of chilling, and I'm like
in saddles.
Yeah, but even in stands, like, you know, I've seen them do that, and then they're like suave enough to calmly reach. Pull that bow off the hanger, pull the arrow out of the quiver, notch it up. And I'm like, if I had to do all those things, I would have made 12 noises already.
Dude.
I'm standing there notched already. And I do the whole time. I stand with my back up against it.
I do the same thing.
And I'm ready to go the whole time.
I have, you know, an arrow nocked, my bow right here. So the most movement I have to do is, and I start drawing from down here. I just punch it out and go.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of oomph in the tank. You know, I need that stand up. Get a little bit of,
I understand that.
I'm not a big dude. I'm pulling at, you know, almost 80 pounds. So I'm like, I got to.
Whereabouts in Illinois were you hunting?
What, Fairview kind of area? Yeah. Or I think that's what it's called. Fairview, Illinois. Now I'm blanking on the name of the town. But Rob and them have a Illinois waterfowl and whitetail connection. It's like a hunting club up there. So do a lot of, that's where we duck hunted at, and that's where we were deer hunting a little bit up there too.
Do you have a bucket list hunt?
Depending on some touring things right now, we're trying to figure it out, but me and Rob have been behind the scenes putting it together to try to chase the Grand Slam with turkeys this year. So
all right.
That's I'm just ate up with turkey hunting, so I'm like, I would love to go where all those spots at. We got a song we play on tour called Hunting Land. And it's literally like, it's hard to go hunting if you ain't got land. And then after every show, I'm like, you know, if you got somewhere to hunt and you'd like us to hunt with you, I'll see you at the merch table. And so we're always
That's a good idea.
Oh, that's the goal. It's like, if we grew up without hunting land, we're going to find somewhere to hunt at.
You mentioned kind of funny turkey hunting techniques that you and your buddy do. Jay and I were out in Montana bear hunting in the spring, and at this point he's probably on the property, I don't know, 5-7 years. Never seen a turkey out there, I don't think. And we're sitting there, and I can't hear well at all. So he hears a gobble a couple times. Then finally I hear it, and I look at him, and he goes, and I say, was that a turkey? He goes, yeah. He's like, I think I've heard it a couple times. So he breaks out his Primos app and hits it, and this turkey gobbles right back.
Just hits right back to it?
Again and again. And they're a ways off. So then we leave our glassing area, go down to the side-by-side, and we're driving back. We're like, all right, the turkeys were around this area. So he hits that app again, and a turkey goes off, right? And like, oh, that's interesting. And so I just have my 308, and he has an old 20 gauge pump shotgun in the back of the side by side, and I think he just had one round for it.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know, he only had one round. He goes up in front of me, and he gets behind these 3 pine trees, and it sounds like the turkeys are right in front of him because they're just hammering, right? And this one turkey's in a full strut, and it comes right around him, and he has these 3 little pines in front of him, comes right around and is looking at him. And so I'm looking at this turkey through my scope, and he's maybe 4 foot away from Jay, and Jay's laying down. I see him. I'm looking at the turkey. I'm like, I might take this turkey's head off from right here. and so I'm looking, and I'm like, he's not moving. Then all of a sudden, in one move, he kind of jumps up, reaches out with his 20 gauge with one hand, and boom, and shoots this thing point blank right
Drops
in the grill.
it.
Oh yeah. And so I watch the whole thing. So then I run up there because I'm laying down on this little hill behind him. So I run up there. Well, shit, the other Tom never left.
So he's right there.
I'm like, give me the shotgun. He's like, I only had one round. I'm like, damn. But and he's then he's killed one with a fan. I was out turkey hunting all morning with Luke, his farm manager, and we put in a lot of work, but I got a nice Tom. And then I get back, and he's eating breakfast. He's like, yeah, there's typically turkeys up here in this food plot around 10 a.m., so I'm going to go up there. He goes up there in like shorts and a T-shirt and with this big old fan, comes back like 20 minutes later with a turkey over his shoulder. He's like, they were out there in the field, and I hit that fan, and they just beelined it for me.
They can't stop it.
Yeah, and I like to use this a little 410, like a youth 410 with a
so easy to maneuver in the woods with that.
Exactly. That's what
belly crawling machine.
Yep, absolutely.
Right there.
Just a little red dot on him, and I shot one at 50 yards with that little 410, and it smoked it.
Yeah, you put them steel slugs in there too. Them bitches will travel.
Yeah, if you love turkey hunting, you should try to get into elk hunting. At least just go on an elk hunt with somebody. That's what I did the first couple of times, and I just like being a part of the process. I didn't have to be the one at the tag or
just take me out there.
Like
100%. It ain't a bad day in the woods.
Yeah. But maybe we should link up for a turkey hunt this year.
I'm down. It's right around the corner.
Yeah, no shit.
My birthday's the opening day of season.
What day is that?
April 12th.
All right, mine's April 16th.
Well, there you go. That's
right.
Prime time.
Yeah. Let's link up and go kill a turkey.
Oh, I'm very down.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on, brother.
Yes, sir.
I really
Thanks
do.
for
I wish
having
you
me.
the best of luck with your career, and tell everyone where they can find you and find your music and everything like that.
Absolutely. Cowboy Casanova on most social medias. Dalton Davis on all streaming platforms, and Redneck, you know it just came out. Go give it a stream and listen. Tell your mom and them.
Cool. Appreciate you, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
We're kind of in tune. Woke up this morning, sun in my eyes. Just another day, but it feels like a lifetime since you went away. It ain't the first time, it won't be the last. I'm stuck somewhere out there, out in the past, standing in the rain. It's a blue feeling, watching you leaving. deep as the ocean, all in slow motion. Everything under the moon is blue without you. I don't know better, no, I don't know why I can't get it together and get past goodbye. I don't know where to start, 'cause I can't outrun it, no, I can't hide from all of the hurt and the tears in my eyes falling hell on in my heart. It's a blue feeling watching you leave, deep as the ocean, all in slow motion. Everything under the moon is blue without you. The sky gets upside down, oh, without you. It's such a cold and lonesome sound. It's a blue feeling watching you leave, deep as the ocean, all in slow motion. Everything under the moon is blue without you. Without you. I don't know where to start. Something like that.
Well, that's going to work.
Thank you very much.
Good job, brother.
Dawson Slade wrote that.
Sorry?
The kid named Dawson Slade wrote that song.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Where's he out of?
He's from out of Alabama. He wrote that song when he was 17 years old.
Really?
And it sat in he had recorded it and never did anything with it. And he's a writer now in town for Warner Chapel. And when it's time to cut my album, I had listened to that song a million times. And I called him and was like, hey, man, what are you going to do with that song? He's like, I don't really know. I was like, well, I know what I would do with it if you'd let me cut it. And he did. So
hell yeah.
now it's one of my favorite tunes.
Great song. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you, my man.
Yes, sir. Thank
Cool.
you.